Hello, and what's happening, my friends? It's Baltic, back once again for the Drunken Kills. And as if you needed any more games to be playing, here are my top 5 hidden gems available in the PlayStation Store. Now, these are games I think went a bit under the radar and deserve a second look. Now, first up, we've got Dead Core. Dead Core is a first-person mixture of platforming, shooting, along with some light puzzle mechanics. Now, the game throws you into a stunning futuristic world of floating towers, moving platforms and lasers with endless skies. Then it challenges you to reach the top of each increasingly difficult tower within the fastest time possible. And now, don't get me wrong, this game does get pretty difficult at points, and it will test your twitch reactions and your platforming skills to the very max, as you have to dash and double jump your way higher and higher towards the finishing line. But with a little practice, you'll soon be amazing yourself with the death-defying acrobatics the game's tight controls allow for. You'll feel a genuine thrill and sense of accomplishment as you blaze through sections that once took you minutes on end and several deaths to pass, you're now breezing through first time. There's also a slight story for you to piece together through the various collectibles that are hidden throughout the levels. My favourite collectible being the extra music tracks that you can unlock for the highly addictive time attack mode. And that's even better with some friends to battle on the leaderboards. Definitely check Dead Core out. Next up, we have Redout. Now, at first look, you may think this game is just a poor man's Wipeout, but you'd be very much mistaken. Yes, it's a futuristic arcade racer with a lot of the same elements as Wipeout, but by no means is it inferior. The graphics might not be quite up to scratch, but the courses and soundtrack could stand shoulder to shoulder with anything in the whole Wipeout series, and it even exceeds its more well-known counterpart in many respects. With weapon and ship upgrades, hundreds of livery customization options, and enough variation in ship types to satisfy almost every type of player. Now, with excellent graphics and sound, it also lets the training wheels off much faster than Wipeout, and the sensation of the breakneck speed is apparent right from the very beginning, and I highly recommend it. Now that brings us to Sinmara X, or Sinmara, fuck knows. Right, it's a 2D side-scrolling shooter or a bullet hell game, in the vein of the R-Type, or my personal favourite Project X. And it brings that formula right up to date with some amazing visuals and mixing in some brilliant 3D effects along the way. And much like these old games, Sinmara is tough but rewarding, and even brings its own unique mechanics to the genre. Most notable of these, instead of having a health bar, which you would normally have, when you hit, you'll lose time. Now, running out of that leads to death. You can extend your time by killing enemies, collecting power-ups, and you can also slow down time using your limited special meter. Now, this constantly ticking clock adds immensely to the tension, and it's a great feeling of beating a stage with mere seconds or less to spare. There is a very confusing story that ties up all the action together, involving time travel and multiple characters, but to be honest, most of that can be skipped or cut out altogether in the arcade mode, because gameplay is king here, and Sinmara shines in this department like no other. And I have to give a special mention to the numerous and inventive boss battles and varied environments put throughout the game. Check that fucker out. On to one of my favourite games I've played this year, and that's Everspace, a roguelike 3D space shooter that reminds me of Freelancer or Colony Wars back in the original PlayStation I think it was on. This game is fantastic though, fast-paced arcade shooter combined with a wee bit of crafting and roguelike elements. The story is you awaken with no memory of who you are in a hostile environment and basically have to travel through different zones of increasing difficulty, exploring, collecting materials and credits as you're fighting off enemies, or even choose to attack friendly convoys if that's the way you want to go. Now, you'll begin to piece the story together and remember more and more the further you get into each run. But if you die, you go straight back to the start with only the credits you've collected remaining. However, that's what you can use to upgrade your ship and give you a better chance the next time around. And it's a very, very addictive loop. Now, you can quickly get lost in it. Special mention to the graphics in this game. The presentation is off the charts, and the varied environments it comes out with just stunning at times. And I really enjoyed it and cannot recommend it enough. Last but not least, we have Nex Machina, a top-down twin-stick shooter. You can see I like my shooters. Well, this one is pure adrenaline-pumping arcade perfection. Highly addictive and challenging, the game screams, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, and I absolutely love it. Now, that was the start of my review for this game when I reviewed it a while back for the channel. So if you want to know more about it, you can check that out. But I'm happy to report that I still have this game on my hard drive, just for when I need that fix that only Nex Machina can provide. So that's it for me. That's my top 5 hidden gems. Hopefully some of you have seen something you like. Speaking of likes, you know what to do. Hit that sub button for more, obviously, and let us know in the comments what's your hidden gems on the PlayStation Store, because I will check them out. Especially any shooters, as you can see, that's what I like. But the whole Drunken Celt clan, we like all sorts of stuff, and I guarantee you the boys' lists would be all different from mine. But anyway, I've been Baltic, and that's me signing off. Catch you